newly, as Mr. Smith said on another meeting, the newly knighted, the newly appointed program manager for the Westside Youth Opportunity Center. And this morning, we're going to talk a little bit about Yo and share some information that some of you may not know. I want to be clear, there are a few people on the call who are better historians than I am, right, as it pertains to Yo and its history of spanning over 20 years. So I'm going to do my very best, but I will say this, persons like Mr. Smith and those of us who are on the Yo staff, Miss Brown, our fearless leader in the youth division, if she wants to jump in, she can do that. But also, we're supposed to save the question and answer for the end. I'm cool with answering questions right in the middle, right? If you're like me, so many things are on your mind, you may forget. So if you need to raise your hand, trust me, we'll answer the question right in the middle of the session. Show of hands really quickly of those who are not familiar with Yo Baltimore. One, two, that's it. Okay, good. Then some of you all can do this then, right? I don't have to, no? Okay, I'll do it. All right, so Yo Baltimore, I'm gonna do the best. Here we go. So we are located on the corners of Lafayette and Gilmore. Our exact address is 1510 West Lafayette Avenue. So this rotunda area, if you go to this little area here, on to the right of the rotunda, that is where the exact address is, right? But do not be fooled. You cannot get in that entrance. You want to come to the right of to the left of the rotunda. This immediate entrance is our Yo Academy entrance, and we'll talk about that a little later. But if you go all the way down to the end past the yellow sign, there's a little entrance. That's where our courtyard is, and we'll talk about exactly how you get into the Yo building. I did want to share, if I could go back. Um, I believe what is our mission statement. The Mayor's Office of Employment Development coordinates and directs workforce development initiatives responsive to the needs of Baltimore City employees and job seekers in order to enhance and promote the local economy. And I wanted to highlight that because I don't want us to lose sight of what Yo Baltimore is. It is a workforce development center for young people ages 18 and 24. We're right in alignment with the vision for the agency, but we have a specific target demographic where we serve young people 18 to 24, all Baltimore City residents. Um, but a special focus is on those who are considered to be opportunity youth, which means individuals who are disconnected or disengaged from education or employment. They could have dropped out of high school. Some of them have graduated high school. Some of them are unemployed or underemployed. They have barriers such as homelessness. They're impoverished, or whatever the needs may be. There are sometimes some high level or severe challenges or barriers that prevent them from re-engaging in the workforce or in some level of education. And so we focus on providing assistance to those individuals. Initially, Yo was, when it was established, was geared towards serving individuals 16 to 21. However, the law changed where young people could not drop out unless they were 18 years of age and older. So that's why we had to change our age from 16 to 21 to 18 to 24. Any questions so far? Cool. So Yo began years ago. I want to say over 20 years ago. Where's Mr. Smith? How many years ago, Mr. Smith? 20 years ago. And there was a lot of money given to Yo. I want to say a little over 40 million, like maybe $44 million, 40 was given to the center to provide services, and they did a little bit of everything. I would say they went skydiving, but they would have been a lot. But Yo was a safe haven to young people, and it was a way of escape. I mean, they did shut-ins and all sorts of events to keep the young people safe, as well as engage them into academic and employment programs. They did a lot of training programs and things of that nature. We always use the caring adult model, which means staff here was considered caring adults, where if a young person came and they needed to be able to talk or feel comfortable in engaging in services, we wanted to make sure that there was a caring adult on site to provide services and support to those young people. What do? We focus on three specific areas. Of course, we do employment with the assistance of our employment services division. Shout out to Ms. Clark and the team. Education and skills training. And if you notice here, I have under education a self-paced high school diploma program. Initially and traditionally, we refer to it as a GED program, but I wanted to provide or re-envision or reimagine what we do in a way that was inspiring for young people. When I was coming up, referring to GED as a GED was not something to be proud of, right? But if for those of us that do not know, a GED is technically a high school diploma. So the idea was to take some of the stigma away from a GED and refer to it now as a self-paced high school diploma because it is on a individual basis. They're self-paced learners. And so when a young person comes in, they may not come in on the same level as those who have already started. They may be on a different level academically, and we want to be able to make them feel comfortable and provide services that will allow them to achieve their goal of earning a high school diploma. And so in all of our literature moving forward, we will no longer refer to it as a GED, but we will refer to it as a high school diploma. Also, in terms of skills training, we provide linkages to partnering agencies that provide skills training, such as CNA, GNA. We just had a flyer for a connection with Goodwill. We have a partner, NCIA. They provide construction training, automotive mechanic, HVAC, culinary, and so many others. So we don't provide services or occupational skills training on site yet. It's coming. I'll tell y'all my vision. The vision is to take up the whole block, the whole 900 block of Gilmore Street, so that we can provide services from beginning to end for all of our young people, which includes a skills training center. So those are the three core areas that we focus on. In addition to that, we also provide mental health services. We have a partnership with Associated Catholic Charities, where a mental health clinician is on site Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 4:30. And then they also provide now virtual services for young people who are in need of mental health counseling. And then we also partner with the Homeless Persons Representation Project, where we provide free legal services to our young people, specifically expungement services and benefits help and so many other things. But those services are provided free to our young people. As a matter of fact, all of your services are free for our young people. Of course, we talked about the target demographic and our program offerings. I will highlight here, and we'll do it also a little later on, our PACT program. Our PACT program is our evening program, and PACT stands for Pre-Adjudicated Connection Training, right? And this is where we partner with the Department of Juvenile Services to provide the same services that we do for our older young people for younger young people, to prevent them from re-entering into the justice system. Some of them are on probation, some of them are just coming home, whatever the case may be. And the idea is to provide a diversion. We don't want them to go back to reoffend. And so they're here in the evenings, and that age range is 14 to 17, maybe on the edge of 18 years old. They're in the evenings from 3:30 to around 8 p.m. And then that program runs Monday through Friday. It's specifically for those who are referred to us through the Department of Juvenile Services. So we don't have young people just walking in like yo members to become a part of the program. They have to be referred through the Department of Juvenile Services. And that's been in existence for, I want to say, 5 or more years. But Mr. Hamlet is doing an excellent job with our PACT program. As it pertains to your staff, I'm the program manager. Our assistant manager, Ms. Sean Terry Young, she is on vacation, so shout out to her. Our office assistant is Ms. Fern Martin. Our advocates, I want to shout out and salute all of our employment advocates. Sometimes they're called youth advocates, but these caring adults are in place to provide assistance to all of our young people that come into the program. They're case managers. They're sometimes big brothers, big sisters, aunts, uncles, grandparents, whatever they need to be to support our young people. That's what they are to our members. So let's talk a little bit about the Yo Academy. The Yo Academy is housed in our building. So if you see the rotunda area, the round part of the building, that right next to that is the entrance to the Yo Academy. And the Yo Academy is our partnership with the Baltimore City Public School System. We are an alternative high school. So this is for individuals who have need of getting their finishing their high school diploma, or they need to get credits, but they're over age. So they get referred through the Baltimore City Public School System, and they come in and receive the same exact services as they would in the traditional school setting, but it's more catered to a smaller group of individuals. In addition to that, we provide employment services. So the same services a young person would get if they were coming to get their high school diploma through our self-paced high school diploma program, they would also get those services through the Yo Academy. And we have two navigators. So whereas downstairs they're called employment advocates, upstairs they're called career navigators, and they provide employment services to those young people. In addition to Workforce Wednesday sessions and linkages to programs such as YouthWorks, other apprenticeship opportunities, so forth and so on. And so it's located right in our building. As a matter of fact, not only is our Baltimore City Public Schools a partner, but we also have a partnership with B&H Caterers. He's on site in our building. And we also have a partner by the way of the Heavenly Angels Early Learning Center, which is a daycare program that's run right out of this building. Upstairs, the Yo Academy is fully staffed with Baltimore City Public School staff. They have a principal, secretary, teachers, you name it. It's the same thing as any traditional Baltimore City public high school. And that's a closer up picture. Now, of course, the grade is usually up when the kids come to school. It's just down because that's when I took the picture. So it's usually open. This is the PAC program I was talking about a little bit earlier. And these are the staff members. We also have a fitness instructor. Our fitness instructor, his name is Mr. Marco Johnson. He is well-versed in MMA, kickboxing, all sorts of fitness certifications, but we do have a fitness area in the building. We are in the process of getting some new equipment because as long as the program has been around, some of that equipment has been around too. So we're looking to get some new fitness equipment. But our fitness instructor is on site and he's available to assist not only our Yo members, but also our PAC program members, and then also young people from the high school if they want to come down and participate in his services or get in a workout session or something to that nature. They're able to do that as well. We also have, and we're in the process of revitalizing our music studio. It's where it's a booth, and in the past we've had an instructor or a technician that was able to provide young people with making tracks and recording songs and producing it and all that kind of thing for a small fee, maybe like $10 or something like that. But we do have it. We're in the process of revitalizing that. So we want to be able to offer those services in addition to teaching young people how to interview virtually. I know was a new part of my process. And so we want to make sure young people are versed in that when they come for job readiness training, or what we're going to begin calling pretty soon the Professional Development Academy. We're trying to make all of our services universal so they're not offensive to anyone. We'll have young people that are coming in who have already had employment experiences, but maybe just need to brush up on their skills. And so we don't want it to call it job readiness because they may come in already job ready, but we want to call it professional development to provide them assistance and prepare them for the next employment opportunity. And that is it. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I was curious about some of the difference between Yo West and East, or is it the same thing, just providing service for a different part of town?
It's in essence that. So the HEPCAC, which is also known as Yo East, partners with John Hopkins, and I believe the Historic East Baltimore committee, or I can't call the name right now, but it also is, the idea was that they would provide services to young people on the east side of Baltimore, and we would provide services on the west side of Baltimore. So provide the same services, just different staff, but in a different location.
It's the Historic East Baltimore Action
Baltimore.
Coalition.
Action Coalition. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I knew it was something in there. Thank you.
And look, the only other thing as well is that I think Hepcat has the capacity, they're in a facility that also has the capacity to temporarily house some of the homeless
That's absolutely
individuals
right.
there. And so they do a couple of things just by virtue of their location and other things that are in their structure. It's not
Mhm.
necessarily a part of HEPCAP, but to which they have access.
Mm-hmm.
But and I think from what I understand too is that uh, someone spoke to the geography, and you're absolutely right. Is largely driven that those on the east side would gravitate towards Hebcat, and respectively, those on the west side would
Mm-hmm.
gravitate towards your west side. However, from what I understand, there are no hard line boundaries. If in fact, Brother Tavon could service someone from the east side who preferred your west side, that would be allowed, as I understand.
That is absolutely correct. And we've had it where a young person may start out receiving services on the west side, but let's say they relocate to the east side of Baltimore and that's closer, they've transferred there and vice versa. We just try to provide a little level of convenience for them. So if they want to come to either site, they can.
I have a question, please. Tavon, could you elaborate on, I believe you said that the Yo Academy is fully staffed with Baltimore City Public School members. Are they city MOED employees or are they Baltimore City Public School employees? Or is there a blend there?
So there is a blend. So all of the teaching staff and the administration, they come from the Baltimore City Public School System. Providing employment services are our two navigators who are MOED staff. And I believe I see one. Ashley, can you wave your hand? She has the Yo background. That's Ashley Chambers. She's one. And Daryl Horry is another. But though they are MOED staff, so it's a blend because of the Baltimore City Public School staff and our staff. There's Daryl Horry. Daryl, can you wave your hand, please? He's our other navigator with Yo Academy.
And if I could add, Tavon, when the Academy, upon its inception, the idea was that those young people who were doing credit recovery, if you will, on an expedited course, were
Mm-hmm.
trying to play catch up. And the thing that Yo had that the traditional school system did not have was the additional support of that caring adult that Tavon made reference to. And so the partnership was garnered so that you could have the best of both worlds, both the school staff educating them, and then that caring adult model that Yo brought to the table in the personage of the career navigators.
Does the east side also have that pre-adjudication component?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't believe that they do. It's specific to the west side.
They
But
do
no,
not.
they haven't. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They do not. Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
they do not. Only reason I know all of this, everybody, is because I was there from the inception
Absolutely.
of it. And when we started the PAC program 12 years ago, it was through a partnership with the Department of Juvenile Services. There are now it's citywide. The referrals don't come from youth opportunity. They come from the judicial system. So though there are young people that may live on the east side that get caught up in the system, and rather than have those young people spend time in incarceration, this is an alternative to them to allow them to stay in the community. There's a structured environment for them to go to every single day. They write a report for them at the end to say how well the young person did and provide those ancillary services that Mr. Thomas spoke about. So that when they go back to court, this pre-adjudication, that hopefully the young person has done well enough that the judges will say, okay, you're free to go. Don't get in trouble anymore. Mr. Hamlin and his team have said you're a good guy and they want you to do this as a next step. It could be anything from mental health counseling to getting employed.
Yeah, and Brother Tavon, just to echo something you said, Brother Jonathan Hamlet does a phenomenal job
Mhm.
with that program, that core group, and the young people that go through that group. I witnessed it myself, and it's just it's incredible what they do, what you do there, and um, much needed, much needed.
And for many of them, the testimonial has been um, they are allowed to be themselves in this space. They're
Yeah.
allowed to be young people. They don't have to pretend or be afraid to be who they are. And that's due largely in part to the caring adults that are present to support them.
And one thing I didn't hear said was about the PAC Center is they serve up to 15 young people, unless
Mhm.
that's changed, Tavon, over the year. And they've had as young as a 13-year-old, and they'll go up to an 18-year-old because, as I'm sure you all know, an 18-year-old could be transferred over to the adult system.
Mm. And I do know too, in terms of the number, I think the last count was probably like 20 young people. And I do know that Mr. Hamlet has to keep the DJS at bay because they do want to refer more, but you know, we only have the capacity for a certain amount. So
Right.
How long do the youth stay with you?
which set of youth for the PAC program or Yo?
For Yo Academy, how long, what is the life cycle of a youth through the program? Like how long are you with them? Or following like managing their case?
For the academy, which is the alternative high school, I believe Mr. Smith is 24, right? So what's the cap for alternative high school youth?
It would be whatever their school year is. Now that it's for a school year because they go in conjunction with whatever the school schedule. However, say if a young person only needs 3 credits, but I'll use an example. A young lady got pregnant, and so that's why she stopped going to school, but she was only 3 credits shy. If she joins the Yo Academy and say the beginning of a school year, if she's recuperated those 3 credits come January, she can stop and just go graduate with them in June or whenever they have the graduation. But she doesn't have to go the entire school year, if that makes sense.
So it's however long it takes them to accomplish that
Hmm.
graduation mark. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
Exactly. Yeah,
Hmm.
there's some young people that come back multiple years. It depends on how many credits you have.
Okay.
Now, if you're talking about Yo, the motto around here is once a Yo member, always a Yo member. So technically, age is 18 to 24, but those rascals come back 25, 30 years, you know. Of course, you know, we can refer them to adult services by that time, but we had somebody, one of Miss Lee's young people come through. I think Miss Lee's, you said he had been employed for at least, what, 9 years, you say?
Yes, 9 years ago, he joined and became employed, and he came back yesterday to visit to say he's still at that job doing well.
Yes, good.
And those are some of the success stories. We know that young people are very busy, but and we had one young man who I know just got his high school diploma with us maybe a year or so ago. Since then, he's working for either Pepsi or uh, some sort of soda company, and then recently just purchased a home in East Baltimore.
He's at Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola, yeah, yeah. So doing extremely well.
Nice.
Yvonne, can I add a historical fact?
Sure.
So I just wanted to say that Yo started as a federal grant, like Tavon said, but Baltimore was when that federal grant ran out, Baltimore was one of the few cities across the country that kept its Yo program in place. And it's funded now by city funds. And that was just a recognition of how important this program was. And so it's been in continuous operation for 20 years. And so, you know, we know how important it is, and I just wanted to say thank you for the really hard work that the team does. I put in the chat that it's an awesome program, and it is absolutely an awesome program. I've been lucky to spend time at the Yo Center, and I loved every minute of it. And, you know, keep up the good work, guys. Thank you.
And Tavon, just one more success story. And I will only say this because he has publicly said it himself. Our current mayor was a Yo member back when he was young, and credits Mr. Ernest Dorsey, who was over the youth services for many, many years, as being one of his mentors and really moving him into the career that he has today. So I think that's one of the greatest success stories that's come out of the center.
Thank you. I will say that while we historically have focused on serving opportunity youth, moving forward, we want to broaden our reach, and we want to go after young people all over the city. Whether you're in college or you've graduated high school, no matter where you are in life, we want to market ourselves in a way that we're not limited to just one population. We want to let them know that if you just need employment services, come to Yo. If you need assistance with getting connected to an occupational skills training program, come to Yo. If you want assistance with getting your high school diploma, come to Yo. And in addition to that, we'll provide the wraparound services that will help to remove the barriers, because that's what's most important. You can have all of the employment opportunities as you can have, but if you're not prepared mentally or emotionally to receive those services, if you don't have stable housing, how are you going to focus on work or school? If you don't have consistent food to eat, how are you going to focus on work or school? And so the idea is that we provide those additional services so that they can be as successful as they can possibly be. That's the core of our work. And I always tell our staff, if we're not here to do that on a daily basis, we need to just go back home, because that's why we're here to serve. Any other questions?
What? I have two more. These are going to be my last two.
No, you're good.
I'm curious about how is the program measuring success in terms of, like, is there a particular number or percentage of youth that at the end of the year that we want to help to successfully matriculate or attain their GED? And the other question is, what are some of the common barriers to achieving that goal, and what are some of the steps that you guys are taking to overcome those barriers, and what are some supports that you might need from other departments? Sorry, 3 questions. All right, that's it.
So our enrollment goal, and I'm not sure we've modified these yet, but our enrollment goal for each year is 350. That's the goal for us to enroll young people. I don't have the breakdown in terms of what we're looking to achieve in terms of GED, employment, that kind of thing. I'll lean on my newness for lack of that information. But if the historians know, they can surely let us know. But the common barriers are the ones I just mentioned. Housing still remains a major barrier. It's a major barrier. We do find that some of our young people are now homelessness does not mean that they're all on the street, they're all in the park. So they just don't have a consistent place to lay their head. So they could be with an aunt today, they could be with a grandparent tomorrow, a friend the next day. They don't have stable housing, and they're sometimes wondering who's going to let them sleep on their couch. Some of our young people barriers, well, they may have housing, but they don't have daycare support. And some of the challenges with getting vouchers is that, of course, you all know, in order for a young person to get a daycare voucher, the parent or the father has to be on child support. Some of the young people are not willing to go through that process. They don't want to put their, significant other, if you will, through the system. And so daycare is definitely a challenge. We don't see as much issues or challenges with food, or we don't hear about them, but we do have a pantry where we do have overflow. We get food from the food bank and so forth and so on. And then we also, I can't remember, Ms. Leeds, do you know who our partners are that were coming on Wednesdays?
That they were from the food rescue, or they come on Tuesday from the Free Food Farm. There was food rescue, and they have certain places, sites set up around the city where they bring food from businesses that would otherwise be destroyed. And the food is from very fresh food, and it's also fruits and vegetables, I'll say.
I know we're over time, so I don't want to keep you all. Any other questions before we go? We will say, and I neglected to say this, Rasheen, we cannot overlook the mental health challenges that our young people are experiencing. A lot of trauma. And we do also see, now that we mentioned that, substance use and substance abuse, right? So not all young people have addiction issues, but that is a coping mechanism. But it's maladaptive as well. So while they'll go to it to provide some sort of relief from whatever they're experiencing, it still has some negative effects. So not everybody's addicted, but the coping mechanism it's maladaptive.
And I did want to share one of those numbers that Rasheen was asking. The job placement goal is 180 youth per year. College, Job Corps, military, 30 youth per year. And there's an 80% job retention rate that we like from our WIO participants, as well as at least 50 youth, 50 youth each year enrolled in an occupational skills training.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Any other questions before we go? All right, well, thank you.
Be sure to complete the survey in the chat.
Yes. There is a survey, I believe it's in the invite. Is that where it is, Ms. McCoy?
I just dropped it in the chat.
Okay, it's in the chat. Cool. So please, if you guys don't mind, complete the survey. I hope that you learned something new or different or found out something you did not know. Thank you all so much for spending time with us this morning, and I hope you have an amazing remainder of your day. No
Thank
problem.
you, Tavon.
You won't problem. Take care.
Thank you.
Good
Keep up
day,
the great
everyone.
work.
Thank you.